Hi, good morning. I wanted to give an update on the development work for the 5TT wave strategy. Um, Over a couple of weeks ago, I showed you I was doing some work in trying to create the automated system, and I just wanted to give you a sneak peek into what how that is coming along and what we're doing with that. Okay, so if you remember, what we're trying to do here is to code a system that actually aligns with this strategy. So what we're looking at is the wave being the lime band with the gold middle line. That's the main wave. Then we have the blue line just above, um, which is the EMA 21. The band is EMA 34, high, low, close, and the magenta is EMA 89. And if you remember, we need to, for a buy trade, we need to see price break above the band, and then the EMA 89 must be lower than the band as well before we can get a buy signal. So in reality, the first buy signal we got was here. You can see that the EMA 89 is completely below the band, and we had price retrace back to the band, and that would have been a buy trade, delivering about 18 pips. This on the 15 minutes time frame, and the stop loss would have been placed either at the below the 89, which in this case was about 3 pips. I would have probably gone more than that, but yeah, 3 pips, and yeah, that would have been 18 pips. And then we got another entry here, so another entry here, and stop loss would have been about 8 pips, and then price did not come down until around 13. If you still took it to this level here, it would have been 20. If you came out here, it would have been 14 pips. Then we took another trade here, which the stop loss would have been 10 pips, and stop loss was threatened here but never got taken out, and that was about 17 pips. Then another entry there, 9 pips, got to 8.8 pips, got taken out there. So this is the buy entry, and then we did actually have a couple of sell entries here just lately. Yesterday I was teaching yesterday and showing the strategy to some of the attendees, and you can see we had a breakdown there. So price broke below the band, and we didn't get an entry until this point here, so actually until here. And the stop loss would have been about 6 pips. I would have taken slightly higher, but yeah, 6 pips, 7 pips. Got threatened here but never really succeeded. Then we had price breakdown to about 20 pips, or even further down, 29 pips. And you notice whilst I was doing the class yesterday, I placed, when price was coming up to this level here, I placed a sell limit order there, which never got triggered. I forgot to turn it off before the market closed, and price went down, and then we got another entry there, but I didn't follow this through. So this would have been the perfect entry, and price just followed it down again. So this should have been like a 12 pip stop loss, and again 1-to-1 we're in profit, and price currently is at a level of entry, so another 12 pips. So you should have another sell limit order there. Now this is exactly why I need an auto system, because I shut the system down, went away from the training, and I never had a chance to either delete this or move it down to track the band. So an automated system will do it irrespective of me being available. As long as there's an internet connection and the system is installed there, it will do it. So I will just show you briefly what the code is like. So this is a 5TT wave trader. The code is up to version 1.5 now. and it's not yet released, so it's up to version 1.5 already. Yeah, so practically these are all some of the variables and constants on the but this is really the on every tick. So every time there's a tick in the market, and the program runs through some of these instructions. So it will check if the expert is enabled. If it's not, it gives me some error messages and so on. So it checks if I've got enough money in the account. If there's less than $10 in the account, it will pop up with a warning saying your account has insufficient funds, please fund your account. And then here comes the main instructions. So the limit entry will be exactly that. So where we have the actual limit, so it would have been a cell limit to enter there, then under cell limit, then you just track cell limits, deleting them as they're not taken. So that's that function there, cell limit. And then next entry is after we have an entry, I want to also take one more trade if the rules are still valid. So what does that really mean? So if, for instance, here we would have had an entry here, then that trade would have still been running, and another trade then gets another signal get given. So I want another trade to be entered whilst the other one is still open, and I would have been writing down both, as it were. So that's that function there. And then delete pending orders just says if the order hasn't been, a pending order hasn't been fulfilled, just delete it after some certain rules have been met. Delete it, take it off. But if I have a live trade, modify the trade, and what that simply means is just set my stop loss and take profit if I have one, then trail as well. So once certain conditions are met, start to trail the EMA 89. And so what that simply means is once I'm in profit, I want the EA to start trailing the EMA 89. So as price is going down, the EMA 89 is going down in this example, just keep trailing it. For a buy situation, I also want it to be trailing the EMA 89, just be trailing it if I have a profitable positive trade open, just be trailing it. That's what that function is about. And I also have the partial close and partial take profit. So if I have if I enable it to activate it, I want it to be able to actually take half of my trade, 50% of my trade off at a certain number of pips, and then another 25% off at a certain number of pips. So that's the function for that. If I also wanted to close the entire trade in profit at a particular profit level, then yes, this is it as well. I can enable that. Then move to break even. Yes, so if price gets to a certain level, I want it to move my stop loss to break even. That's that instruction here. So that's practically that. And then the code really is the entire code is then full of lines of program. So this is how many lines of code? So there are actually 7,400 lines of code in this one, and it's not done yet. It might be, I might delete things later, I might add things later. It just doesn't, it just depends on how we keep optimizing the system. Okay, so let's see how this runs, and I'll keep giving you an update on the progress of this. So that's the indicator. So you can see here 5TT34 wave trader V1.5. I'm going to run it on GBP JPY. I'm just going to use the dates from 1st of January, but this is 15 minutes time frame, so probably we'll start from around because of the number of candles involved. It'll start from maybe September 2018 up to date. So up to today, yesterday was the 8th, Friday, so up to the 8th of November 2019, and I'm going to use the 15 minutes time frame, and the spread on this, I'm going to use 5 pips, so that's 50 points, 5 pips spread, because the market isn't open. So I'm just going to go for 5 pips, even though on FXCM broker, GBP JPY will have less than 3 pip spread. But yeah, let's just leave it as 5 pips and just run it. Okay, so that's it, ready to go. That's the template set. So you can see the wave band there, the 21 EMA 21, the EMA 89, but I also have EMA 13 for my additional trade. So that's the an additional function there. So let's run and go and see what we get. So we start to run now, so you can see it's right. You can see now we get a first buy limit order, and that's the rule, all the rule met. So that's the wave band there, and is above the EMA 89, and it places the buy limit on the high of the band. If the EMA 21 were to be up above the band, it would have placed it on the EMA 21. But let's see what then happens. Then price just keeps going. That's a limit order, remember, and so we don't get filled in, and it deletes. Do you notice it deleted because we didn't get filled in? After about 2 or 3 bars, we don't get filled in, it deletes it and tracks the EMA 34, the band high of the band. Again, places another limit order. Let's see if we get filled in. No, we don't get filled in, so it deletes that one, and now it places another one, deletes that one, places another one, boom, deletes it again, places another one. If you notice, this is still because the EMA 21 is still below the band, it's placing it on the high of the band. So let's see if the EMA 21 goes above the band, if the EA does the right thing and places it on the EMA 21. So those are the kind of detail I want to be able to see happen, and with the code. Right, so that's still on the band. Boom, can you see price is going? We are not yet so now the EMA 21 is now higher than the band. So let us see what happens when it deletes that one. Boom, can you see that now? So it deleted the old one, and then the EMA 81, sorry, EMA 21 now is the level where the limit order is being placed. And now this is why, if you notice, on the EMA 13, which is not in the original rule, price actually gets there and bounces. So as I update this and optimize this, I might actually eventually ask the EA to place limit orders on the EMA 13 instead of the original EMA 21. But yeah, that's the optimization still happening, so we will know. So everything is precise. This is what I love. Boom, so we get filled in. You see that? So it did that, we got filled in. So price came down with power, fills us in, but then immediately takes us out. You could see that the stop loss was here. You can see there, that was a stop loss there. And we got taken out. Bad, not good. But yeah, it is the way the market works. No problem. So again, you can see the rules are not met anymore because price is now within or below the band. So it's neither a buy or a sell trade. For it to start placing sell orders, the 89 needs to be above the band, and for it to start placing buy orders, price needs to be above the band. Okay, so now we have, you see, starts to place it again. Boom, 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 boom. we get filled in on that trade. Can you see? So stop. You get filled in on that trade. Can you see? So we had a limit order placed. One price hit that level there. We had a limit order placed there. So you can see it was a buy limit, but now it became a buy trade. Yeah, so from it being a buy limit order, it got filled in to become a buy trade. Yeah, right. So you can see here it is now a buy trade, and it has gone 0.43 lots and set the stop loss down there. Now this is because the rule here is if the distance of the entry price to the EMA 89 is less than 25 pips, place the stop loss at 25 pips, and you can see that's exactly at 25 pips. Yeah, and that's based on that the lot size was calculated. So let's see what happens. So price starts to go. I'm now in profit. Do you notice we're now in some profit? Or let's see whether there's profit because it's 5 pips spread. Okay, yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, watch what happened. Did you see what happened now? If you notice, let me zoom this. Can you see what happened at this level here? You can see this line here shows that some of that trade was closed. So that entry was here, and at about 12 pips, it's been instructed to close half of the trade. So half of the trade was closed. If we look at the results here, you can see that that trade, he opened the buy order number 10 was 0.43, right? Then it closed 0.21, that's half of the trade in profit, and the other one is still open, 0.22, still open. So for me, this is the key thing here. I need to make sure that the EA is following the instruction. Now we will start to look at profitability and how to optimize and make sure profitability happens. But right now, is it obeying some of those critical rules on the strategy and instructions on risk management? That's what we're doing here. And watch as well, you can see that the stop loss has moved because previously, let's see whether it really moved. Previously it was 25 pips, if you remember, right? Now it is now 19 pips because as we're moving, so the original stop loss was placed here, but now it is trailing. It is trailed about 5 pips already, or 7 pips. So let's see what's happening. We've had another close because you can now see it is now 0.11 pips. So the second close you can see here. So we had 0.21 close at 12 pips. Then we had another 0.11 close at 20 pips. So it is doing what we want it to do, and the stop loss is also moving. You can see it has moved again, that tiny SL modified, you can see it. So let's see what happens. Now let's see if the second rule to start to place once I'm in profit, it will, yes, watch that. Did you see what happened now? So two things have happened here right now. One, the stop loss, once we have moved to a certain, I won't tell you what because this is my IP, a certain condition was met, the stop loss moved from here. If you remember, it was around here and it moved straight up, and this is the order here. So that was the entry price, and now the stop loss has moved above it. Yeah, and the rule for the second trade to start opening is once the stop loss is above the entry for a buy trade, which means it becomes a 100% risk-free trade, I want to open an additional trade, yeah, based on the conditions. So what has happened? Immediately the stop loss moved. Do you see that a limit order, can you see that? A limit order has then been placed of 0.44 lots have now been placed, waiting for price to come back down to take us in. If it does, boom, boom, didn't quite get there, no. So let's see what happens next. Boom. You see what happened? It deleted that one because we never got filled in on it. And now you can see the buy limit is being placed on the EMA 13 for this additional trade. Boom, that deleted again, and that's placed the next one. But then notice as well what is happening to the 89. So once this 89 now goes above the stop loss, it will continue to trail it. Boom. You see what happened there? So because this is something to be very conscious about, because price has this candle here, you see this candle here, it pierced this, so none of these touched that line, but that one did. It touched this line here and immediately touched it and closed above. We then had price open a market order. This is not a limit order, so market order. So where it didn't quite get to the limit order but pierced that line, I want it to enter a market order. So these rules are met. So I'm happy that the code is actually doing what I want it to do. Now the question is that this distance here, is 13 pips, and it cannot be more than this distance here. So this is 14 pips, so that's perfect. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want. Boom, boom. So we're in that trade now. Just watch that. Let's see if we can take some profit. I'd like to make this smaller. So the second trade, can you see now that the EMA 89 is now on the first stop loss? So this first stop loss, number 12, will start to trail this EMA 89, and this is the second stop loss for the second trade. Oh, I don't know if we're going to make profit on this because it's, let's see. Let's follow the rules. Oh, it's coming down. Oh, fingers crossed. Now we're going to be taken out. Can you see it's trailing the stop loss now? So on the first one, fingers crossed. And by the way, yeah, I might want to, instead of that opening on that candle, I want it to immediately this closes. I want it to open here instead of there. You see? So I'll probably have to code that. But I don't know. You see? Can you see the stop loss is trailing? Are you seeing the stop loss moving for the first one? Can you see it moving? That's awesome. Can you see that? It's closing. Yeah, it's trailing. Boom. So did you see that? So the 50% of the second trade has been closed now. So if you go to the results, you can see, boom, we've closed half of that trade of the second one. That is awesome. And so the rules are being met. Boom. Did you see that? The second one, the 25% has closed. Do you see that? Yeah, that's what we want to see happen. And you can also see, what did you see on the order number 21? The stop loss now has moved because the rules have been met for the stop loss to be moved above the entry. So that stop loss moving above the entry, and this one as well, the stop loss is still above, and we're excited. So both trades now are going to be 100% profitable trade. Yeah, the other one is still trailing the stop loss. Can you see it? As the stop loss is moving, it's trailing it. Boom, so we get taken out. So price has now taken us out on the second trade, and altogether that second trade made 15 plus 13 is 28 plus 3, $31 for that trade. Nicely done. So price is pushing down, but this other one, as long as price is above the EMA 89 is trailing. So right now that trade has locked in how many pips? Locked in about 22 pips, and it keeps going up, and it might be taken out now. Oops. Can you see we got another buy trade because all the rules were met. We got another buy trade filled in the stop loss, and that's order number 22. The stop loss has now been placed. We need to absolutely be sure. Oh, so this actually met the rules. Oh, which one was it that broke above? It was this one. It was this one. So that's right. That's correct. So that did the right thing. Oh yeah. Perfect. We're gonna get half closed. Boom. Did you see it? Half has closed there. Half of the trade has closed there. Boom. So it's dropped from 40 something 0.44 to 0.22. So if you go to results again, you can see here. So it opened at 0.44. Now 0.22 has closed. So the rules have been met. Let's see if this makes more money or we go get taken out. The first trade, the very first trade, you can see the stop loss is still moving. It's now going to probably go higher than the new trade stop loss. Yeah, it has. And we're going to get taken out now, I suspect. Well, not yet. It says not yet. So we have locked in about 29 pips now. Let's see if we will close another 25%. I don't know. So both stop losses, I think, are moving now. Both stop losses, I think, started to move because this one, yeah, both stop losses started to move. Yeah, that one moved too. You can see the original stop loss was there, so it moved. Oh, wow, it looks like we'll be taken out because price is messing about now. Oh, second 25% got closed, and you can now see that on the second trade, on this other trade, the stop loss has moved, locking in 5 pips. Both trades again 100% profitable. Nothing can change this now. We get taken out again, I think. Boom. So that first trade, the very first trade, is still racing on 32 pips. That is awesome. Then we get a buy limit. Didn't get filled in now. Oh, is that gonna fill me in now? We didn't get filled in on that trade now. Oh, we've had a buy. Now this is the sort of stuff that I'm gonna code this not to do. This will not do this because this is about 25 pips. Yeah. Right, so let's see. Oh, we've just closed half of that trade now. We've closed another 20%. Stop loss moved, and boom. What happened there? The first trade actually hit the 1%, I think. So that first trade, can you see? That was the number one trade. It got closed automatically. Why? Because it's set to close in profit when it is 1% in profit. You see? So that number 12, you can see this number 12 trade is 116. So that was more than 1% in profit on his own, just on his own. And that's why it got closed automatically. So I'm gonna just pause this here. The video is getting too long. So we're gonna continue testing this until we can completely make it ready for you all to use. Okay. You stay tuned, stay connected, and let's make sure we you're available when this is ready. Okay. All right. If you want more information, if you want to know about other systems that we already have available, then like the 5TT gap system, just it's the same principle. I code all my systems myself and I use them. So let me know, and you will obviously have access to them. All right, let's speak soon. Cheers.